ground temp is -4 degrees Fahrenheit.
Team, good morning, man. What I have for you today is a review of the LiteFighter #1 tent with the cold weather kit. I also got some breakfast and a little chit chat. Let's get to this.
The ground temp is -4 degrees Fahrenheit. Outside of the tent, about 8 degrees. As you can see, it's about 16 degrees average temp.
Now, you know I'm a fan of these things, man. They're American owned and operated, and they're the #1 tent that the United States Army looks to provide single man and 2-man tents. When I say tens of thousands of these tents have been used all over the world, man, that's being pretty conservative. Soldiers have abused these things out in the field, and they stand ready to take care of us, and not just 3 seasons, but 4 seasons as well, as we're gonna hopefully find out when we get inside the hooch. So, what we got here is the LiteFighter 1 tent. We got the cold weather kit, which turns the 3-season tent into a 4-season tent. Overall, it's pretty easy to set up. Takes about 10 minutes. And if you know that you're coming out to a cold weather environment, you can get it ready on the front half, right? You can put the cold weather kit on the front. I wanted to put it together out here in the cold with the fingers not working so good, just to see how easy it is to put together. And although it does add a few extra minutes, it is not difficult at all. It just has some slits in the liner that you can feed the hooks through before you attach them to the tent. And that's what the cold weather kit is. It's a shell that goes over the tent, but underneath the outer tarp. And that's going to provide wind dampening. It's going to add an extra layer of insulation as it closes off all of the airflow going out and in of the tent. Right, it is pretty cold and balmy out here. It's about -9 degrees Celsius, but we don't talk commie, we talk American. So it's about 17 degrees out here in the field right now, and that's Fahrenheit for all you guys out there. So it's pretty chilly, and you know, working in a cold weather environment brings all sorts of additional risks and hazards that we need to think about mitigating. It's not undoable. As we can see, it is a absolute beautiful day right now. Let's keep looking at this tent. So we reviewed this thing in the past. Has a nice tall tub. It's a single man tent. It's backpackable. It's roughly 5 pounds. So it's not ultra lightweight, but it's easy enough to pack around and move about. You got all your stakes are included. You got a ground cloth that we have here set up. We got the cold weather kit set in. It's super easy to get this thing pitched, and once you've done it a few times, it's even a soldier can do it. It's treated with insect repellent. It's extremely breathable in the summertime without the cold weather 1 kit. With the cold weather 1 kit on it, it reduces that breathability and adds a layer of insulation. And we're going to test how warm it is inside this thing here in a few minutes. Between now and then, let's get some breakfast going. Let me show you this. So up here in the Pacific Northwest, and we know it rains a lot. We get roughly 140 inches of rain every single year. It's going to make fire starting extremely difficult. But what we want to look out for is on these dug firs are these areas of pitch. We're going to use this to start a fire.
Ain't that much better than a burrito in the mountains. The only better thing than that is to top it off with some coffee. Stoker every now and then will drink some foo-foo coffee. And my foo-foo is provided by the Tears of a Kami. And every time you like one of my videos, this flask is filled with them. I appreciate you guys. So it is pretty dadgum cold right now. Oh yeah. It's probably warmed up to 18 degrees. Here in just a minute, we'll step inside the hooch and see how warm it is using that IR. See if that liner does any good or not. Some of us grew up in the wintertime and some of us haven't. And I'll tell you, from my experience, and I'm looking forward to seeing your comments down below, a lot of people get a lot of things wrong when it comes to survival in the wintertime. And we know that, maintaining a core body temperature is paramount. But one of the myths that's out there is that you need to wear a lot of layers so that you can take on and off the layers that you're wearing. And truthfully, that's probably a pretty big myth. Like right now, I got my ninja suit on, right? My silkies, top and bottom. I've got a lightweight Henley. It's cotton because I'm cheap and I can't afford, fancy dancy stuff. And then I've got on my 5-button sweater and my Carhartt. So really, I've got on a base layer, and I've got on a mid-weight. Really, if you count the Henley, I've got 2 mid-weights along with the sweater, and then my outer garment. And I'm able to walk through here without making much of a sweat, and I'm able to maintain my core body temperature pretty easy wearing what I have on. The fool thing to do would be to just rip everything off just because you can. Because as soon as you do that, you're not really regulating your temperature as well as you could be. So wearing proper layers and keeping them on is key. I think where people go wrong is they wear too many layers, right? They walk around like they're in one of America's greatest Christmas movies, and that's A Christmas Story. Mom, I can't put my arms down, right? That's the wrong approach. Because once you have on so many layers, your body is naturally, that core temperature is going to rise. And you're going to start sweating. Once you start sweating, man, it's kind of game over, because it's going to be extremely hard and difficult to reduce that negative impact that being wet is going to do to your body and to your skin. So we need to stay dry, and we do need to wear our layers and be cognizant of what we're wearing to make sure that we don't freaking overheat. True story, man. We're doing a foot march. This is back in 1998 or 1999 BC, and we're getting ready to step off. And I tell all the dudes in my squad to make sure that the only cold weather gear that they're wearing is their beanie and gloves. No sweatshirts, no sweaters, no nothing, man. We're going to be going on an 18-mile foot march. Well, overnight it froze, and we got word at our fire watch, which actually ended up being a fire watch, that it was going to be a hard freeze, and it did, man. Everything froze solid. So we shake up out of our shelter halves. We pack everything up, and I tell everybody again, hey man, no cold weather gear when we step off. And everybody's like, hey Roger, sorry, I got you. Well, I learned a valuable lesson then, that you can expect what you inspect. So we step off, and the first dude about a quarter mile down the road's like, stoked, man, I got the sweatshirt on I need to take off. And I give him a little bit of a riot act. We start moving some more, and sure enough, man, vessels goes down like a champ. Man, he didn't just fall out, man. He fell the F out. Ran up to him, and he was not there. He was not present. And so I slap him around a little bit. And his eyes rolling in the back of his head. And I rip open his blouse, and man, I can see he had on his gray sweatshirt, and underneath that on, he had another sweatshirt. His plume of steam just comes right out. Hey, Doc, man, come on back. Doc Goodrow comes back. He looks at me. He's like, "Hey, Stoke, man, we gotta take this dude's core temp." Hey, roger that. Hey, give me 2-man detail. So these two Joes come running up. Hey, man, help Doc take his core temp. So they roll him over. They rip down his trousers. Of course, he's got on sweatpants underneath that. And this dude was hairy, man. When I say that he was hairy, I mean that he was bushy all over. Dudes look up, and Doc's like, "Man, I don't know where to stick this thermometer." I'm like, "Hey, man, you get the left cheek, you get the right cheek, and part that thing like the Red Sea." Sure enough, they do. And this is how I knew that this dude was legitimately out. Because when that thing went in, he didn't wince. He didn't moan in agony. He had no idea he was being violated. But sure enough, man, his temp was pretty high. So we stripped all his gear off. I think, hot weather injuries in a cold weather environment, I think we're more susceptible to them if we're not used to operating in this type of environment. Let's get up on inside this hooch, and we'll see what the temperature's looking like. Think that we get wrong is sleeping in the cold weather as well. A lot of dudes like to get inside their sack and keep all their clothes on, keep their boots on. And I don't know where people get crap like this from, but that's a surefire way to not wake up in a very good state of mind. So everybody has their own techniques and principles, and I'd love to hear your cold weather experience as well. What Stoker does is I'll strip down all the way down to definitely nothing more than my base layer on my skin. Everything I'm going to wear the next day, right? The socks, my pants, my shirt, my sweater, my jacket, all that stuff, I will stuff down inside my sleeping bag so that it uses my core temp in order to stay warm, so that when I put it on, I ain't freezing my butt off. Let's go take a look inside this tent, and we'll see just how warm it is just sitting there over the course of the past couple hours. So the sidewall of the tent, 26 degrees, man, 26 degrees. That's pretty stinking warm. All the way up to 33, 34 degrees. That's out of control, man. So it's a solid 30 degrees inside this tent. That is absolutely crazy, man. That is insane. Appreciate you guys. Let me know what you think down in the comments below about this cold weather tent kit for the tent. If I can learn how to talk and the grub and the chit chat that we had. I look forward to learning more from you all as we add into the community the depth and breadth of experience that you all bring to the table. I think that we can call this thing a 4-season tent that LiteFighter makes with that cold weather kit attached to it. And I understand that they're making a cold weather kit for their LiteFighter 2 as well. Man, but I think, as we're looking out and it's 17, 16 degrees outside and it's over 30 degrees on the inside of the tent, man, that's out of stinking control. So I dig this thing. Make sure you like it, make sure you comment, make sure you share this out with somebody so we can continue to keep this conversation rolling. As always, man, I appreciate all you guys. You stay out there, you keep grinding, and you stay stoked.